Hello, testing. Is this thing on? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shady Monkey Show. Yo, welcome to the Shady Monkey Show. We have a special guest today. Also, big thanks to our sponsor, Oriental Distilling Company out of Zhuhai, for always providing us with the best gin you can get. Jay Holladay. Sounds like a brand name. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Very good.
Cheers, dude. Let's get some gin in us.
Looking forward to it. Never tried this one.
Yeah, man. These guys are good. They're
We drink it straight.
no. Oh, we. I need the tonic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. No, we're gonna mix it with the.
Yeah, mix it with Everyday Weeknd.
But yeah, it's the first time I didn't have the tonic with us. My brain's not working.
Nah, no worries, mate. I think it's because we got these bad boys right here.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into that. Talk about that. So
There we go.
also, I tend to pour a little heavy. I'm trying to
There we go. That works, mate.
keep it light. I think I poured this one a little heavy. I got one of my guests fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah, like after the podcast, we were like, we're doing because we'll do these portraits with you.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, while we're doing the portraits, he passed out like on the chair while we're taking pictures of him.
I just realised that I'm going to need help getting a Diddy driver back.
Oh yeah.
I've got the car.
Cheers.
So we'll get a Diddy driver.
What do you think? Your alcohol,
Yeah,
man.
it's lovely.
It's good.
They're really nice.
Yeah, these guys. I don't know, I think his family is like has a history of distilling, and so
Thai gin. Makes me want to give a shout out to some Thailand friends. Carl, Charles.
yeah, there you go.
Hello, boys. This is for you.
So they do a bunch of flavors. One of my favorites is like a raspberry. That's super kind of like sweet and delicious. But I'm definitely a gin man.
Yeah, super nice. Batch 28, bottle number 373. So they're keeping it craft.
Yeah, and you can go to they have in Zhuhai they have a distilling room or a tasting room.
Okay.
So me and Freddie, we made our own gin. So this is our own mix, which is like a honey, vanilla bean, and figs.
Ah, it smells lovely, mate.
So it's like so the honey and the figs were distilled in with the alcohol, but to finish it, we dropped a whole vanilla bean inside.
Smell that vanilla.
Yeah, and this is like I think like 2 years old.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So the vanilla's nice and thick in there.
Oh, super.
Yeah, so these guys will come to Shenzhen and do different distilling events and stuff like that. It's good quality. I can drink a lot and not feel fucked up in the morning.
Oh, well, that's
Which is important, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Not having a hangover.
So, Everyday Weeknd is your kind of new project, new brand.
Yeah, so this was born a couple of years ago.
Well, where's it from?
We originally started making it in New Zealand.
Okay.
We've ended up basically finding a better facility, better producer. We're in Vietnam now.
Okay.
In Ho Chi Minh. One of the biggest, we call so it's a hard seltzer.
What is it? What is a seltzer? Because I'm not really familiar with.
It's basically alcohol.
It's like an alcoholic soda.
Water, yeah, with flavor exactly. Yeah. So big in America, big in Europe, big in Australasia. Mm-hmm. Not very big in Asia right now. So we've decided, okay, we're going to target Southeast Asia, try and be the biggest, the fastest growing in Southeast Asia. And to differentiate, we went to the best flavor house in the world. So our flavor
Where's that?
Natural. That was in New Zealand.
Okay.
So natural flavors.
So all like with like, well, I think we have, what do we have here? We have
mango and passion fruit.
Mango and passion fruit.
Lime and soda.
Perfect.
So lime and soda, we just entered in the London Spirits Awards and won the Masters. They only gave out one Master in the seltzer category, and we got it.
Was Happy Dad there?
Happy Dad probably was there. Yeah, it will have been. So currently, this is the best seltzer in the world.
Wow.
And we got a gold for the mango and passion fruit.
That's awesome.
Pretty happy.
So like the flavors all come from like real mangoes and
Yep. Yeah, all natural.
and the flavor house, they provide you with the flavoring, and then that goes to the factory.
That's right. So then the factory in Vietnam now, they have the spirit base, which is vodka base,
Okay.
a white spirit, and obviously the soda, and then the canning and printing and everything. So the company we use actually supply most of the ready-to-drink drinks for Trader Joe's USA.
Oh, I know Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's.
So if they go in there, then we're happy as a startup to get in there too.
Now, is this owned by a brand or it's like independent?
Independently owned by me and my friend Jeremy.
Wow, that's awesome. Because in the past, you would bring other people's brands into China, right? That's kind of your background.
Yeah. So since 2011, I've been an importer and distributor of craft beer mainly in China.
Like
So
Stone was one of them.
Stone Brewing. So they entered on a smaller scale. And then we basically took it on and pretty much introduced the brand in the on-trade, which is the bar business in China. That was about 3 years ago. Before that, though...
3 years ago, like introducing it during COVID?
Yeah, exactly. 1 year before COVID.
Okay.
So we had a really nice year with it, and then obviously COVID came and screwed it all up.
Yeah, that's a hard time for everybody. People live, I mean, all over the world, but...
Yeah,
especially
we were throwing
for
a lot of
F&B
beer away.
In China, fuck.
Yeah, that's the problem. Beer has an expiry date, and there's no support from anyone. So we had 12 brands, so 2 warehouses in China full of beer.
They all had
just
to go.
expiring, all had to go. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Along with the company, December last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the name of the company?
Top Shelf.
Top Shelf. So that doesn't exist anymore.
Don't exist anymore.
Wow.
And we took.
And Top Shelf was your company, or you were working for them?
Shareholder. So
Okay.
me, Gary, and Sean.
Wow. And that was like you started Top Shelf when you came to China?
No, so I came to China just playing rugby, having fun.
No, really?
Yeah.
Like with like a team or?
Just the Shenzhen Dragons.
So wait a second. You come to Shenzhen with like what? No plan?
No plan. Adventure.
But you knew there was like an amateur local rugby team? Do you still play?
No, so I smashed my leg to bits in 4 places playing rugby in Guangzhou.
Like at one time or then different?
In 1 game, and it was bad. And I made a comeback about 3 years ago just to like prove in my head
That you could do
that I
it?
could do it. And I had a good tournament in Chengdu with some good friends. I played for the Chengdu Pandas, but it's as you get older, and I've got kids.
Yeah.
Getting in a bad injury and being in hospital and just being useless, really.
Especially when it's not like your day job or like your
No.
money source. You
I
know,
wish
like you gotta like choose. Like I'm the same. You gotta choose your hobbies that are that can put you in the front desk on Monday mornings.
Play
you know,
chess.
play chess. You know. But so the rugby team they play. It's not just like Shenzhen teams. I guess there probably not that many
No.
Shenzhen teams, but like
Play all over China, so
it's like a yearly league where
they do. It's a lot more structured now than it was when I played. When I played, it was play Guangzhou 5 times a year.
and then you guys play each other for the championship.
Yeah, something like that, exactly. Whereas now you've got a couple of teams in Dongguan, I think. You've got a couple of Shenzhen teams, Guangzhou, you've got Shanghai, Beijing, Xiamen. We used to go to tournaments like Xiamen, put on a good one. It's probably my favorite tournament.
Is there money behind it? Like you guys, like as a player, do you have to buy your bus ticket? Or is everything like...
Some teams, everyone's different, right? Some teams have benefactors and stuff, but generally everyone pays the way.
Right.
You
Pays to
always
play.
try and look after the students and stuff, especially if they're good. But generally everyone pays the way.
And mostly foreigners, or is it mixed teams?
Mostly foreigners. But I mean, we've played tournaments when the Chinese PLA have put teams in.
Oh, really?
So yes, it's good. So Chinese are getting into it, and obviously
And
they're
there's some
fit and
big
fast lads, right?
And they have some big boys, especially like up
Yeah.
north or like Mongolia. I think they kind of have some
They've
big
been
boys.
massive. Yeah,
So-
Beijing boys.
So, but I like I grew up with like American football, and like me and my grandfather would put on the Eagles game every Sunday, and all the grandkids would watch it with them. And I could never like get into rugby, maybe because I just don't understand it.
Such a different game, isn't it? Like,
it's totally different. But I assume like rugby's much older of a sport.
yeah.
And then football kind of evolved. American football evolved from there. I mean, I don't really know the history, but
yeah. I mean, for us, I wouldn't have been interesting ever putting American football on the TV when I was growing up. But now there's so many good movies about American football. Like Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington.
Sure.
I watched
Rudy.
a Netflix the other day with the Gators.
Oh, yeah, I just watched that like was it 2 nights ago?
Yeah,
it came out this week.
Yeah,
right?
yes. I've been watching it this week.
I think I stayed up to like 3 a.m. and like finished all 4 episodes.
Well, that gets you into it.
Right.
Rugby don't have that.
Right.
There's no TV shows really.
Not yet, anyways.
You've got one about the South African team when they won with Nelson Mandela. I think Matt Damon's in that movie.
Okay, I think Invictus, I remember that. I don't. What's the name? Do you remember?
Invictus, I think.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So but apart from that, you haven't really got any good movies about rugby. Whereas American football, you've got loads.
Yeah, I mean, there are also TV shows. Like Any Given Sunday?
Yeah, and
Friday Night Lights.
Even Ballers was a big focus on AFL.
But I think American football is much more violent than rugby.
It is now. Rugby now, they're toning it down massively. No headshots at all. You can't put a shoulder on a head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're really looking out for concussions and stuff now and the long-term impact.
Well, I mean, that's the biggest problem with American football is that it's
the long-term
damage.
damage.
It's a long-term, like a lot of players, they finish, especially like the guys who like play the line.
Yeah.
It's just like every Sunday is concussion Sunday.
It'll go the same way, won't it? Because there'll be payouts eventually.
And you guys don't play with any kind of helmet?
No, nothing, no.
So.
Just a mouth guard. Protect the teeth, not the brain.
But I think you couldn't play rugby from what with a helmet.
No,
I think you'd have a lot more.
There's headgear, like you can wear a boxing headgear.
Because also they have the shoulder pads and the chest protection.
A lot more.
I mean, their whole chest is.
But you're having faster hits
in American football.
Line in American football.
Well,
from what I've seen in the movies.
Well, especially when the guys are like running full speed, trying to get a touchdown, and some defensive guy just smacks into him full speed.
And all your breaks, everyone's getting the breath ready just to go.
Right. 100%. And rugby is kind of like a continuous.
Apart from scrums, lineouts, yeah.
So the one part, so maybe you can help me explain this, is that when there's a big pile up, right, the play seems to stop for a few seconds, and there's like the guy's like has his hand on the ball and he looks like he's just waiting for something.
Yeah.
Is he waiting for like the ref to like blow a whistle and say game on?
No, the ref will tell him to speed it up if he's too slow, but that's called a ruck. And he's got a few seconds to once the ball's out the back of the.
And nobody on the other team can touch him while he's in that.
They can only come in through, and the feet have to be on the ground. They've got to be supporting themselves by their feet, so they can't just dive over the top and get him because they're going to come off their feet, and they can't come in from the side. So that's why you see the player who's stood over the ball has got 2 of his teammates or
kind
3
of
of his
protecting
teammates protecting him in front. So then it's nearly impossible to reach him.
I see. So he's just waiting to find a good opportunity to pass it to the next guy.
But the opportunity, the faster you play, the more opportunities you get.
Sure.
If you don't let them set.
For sure. And you can't pass the ball forward?
No.
So it's only like this lateral to the side is okay?
Yep.
Or does it have to be back?
Sideways, it's supposed to be back. But
so it's supposed to be back?
Yes.
So... That's interesting game.
It just can't be forward.
Just can't be forward, right? Which is American football is all forward.
Yeah, exactly. That's the opposite. You can kick forward, but then the man has to be behind the kicker.
And
who receives.
So in rugby, you can kick the ball?
Yep.
So if you take it, you can kick it forward?
But then the player who receives the ball, if he's on your team, has to have been behind the kicker before... when the ball's kicked.
I see.
So it's not like you can run down the wing
and just like kick it.
And the kicker kicks it down there.
Right.
It's got to be.
He'd have to be a really fast runner to catch up to it. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's cool, man. Like I've had a few offers just because I'm wide and big to like join as a rugby team.
Get in the Shenzhen Dragons.
Also, I think there's a football team in Shenzhen too.
Oh, really?
So, but then again, I was just like, I don't want to be like you with
Get the
busted
injuries,
leg in
mate.
4 places.
You've got kids too.
You know,
bro.
I got kids and I got to work and, you know, take care of the bills and shit like that. So,
Nah, that's the problem.
so after you came here and you're playing on the rugby team, and that's when you decided to start Top Shelf.
So I got asked to work for a company called DXL, which was Shanghai craft beer importer.
DXL.
Yeah, so they asked me to do sales in the south. They had nobody that never sold beer down here, so I started doing that for them. And then Sean and Gary were setting up Top Shelf, and they asked me if I wanted to come in as a partner and head up sales for them instead. So I did. And at that point, they only had their own brand of beer called Brewers Union,
Okay.
which was brewed in a German brewery, which bizarrely a little bit was craft beer, IPAs, a black beer, and a Helles, because Germany breweries don't really brew craft beer. So
I mean,
it was a shock to me.
When you say that, they don't.
They make industrial beer. They make wheat beers. They make lagers. They make black.
But all those can be craft beers
beers.
too.
For the smaller batch size and everything else.
Right.
So you're talking in Germany, generally everything is huge industrial scale.
But
So
there must be like small,
there is now.
like independent.
There's more now.
Okay.
More independent now. So that's all they had. They had that and Hunter's Cider from South Africa. So the first thing I did, I had a friend who was exporting Brewdog from Scotland to Brazil. So
Brewdog Scottish.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So,
Okay.
so they're the biggest by value craft brewery in the world now.
Oh wow.
And at that point, Dexel were actually bringing them in, but only bringing in like, I don't know, a few pallets at a time. So I contacted my friend who was exporting Brewdog to Brazil and asked, can you get us an introduction? And he got us an intro.
They weren't in China at all at that time.
They were doing very small.
Oh, the few pallets at a time.
Yeah. So we took over Brewdog, and that was our big success story. We ended up taking that by 2019 to something like 120, 40-foot containers in 2019. So
that's a lot of beer.
A lot bigger, yeah. So they're now with Budweiser company.
All right. Budweiser bought them?
No, just doing the distribution in China.
Okay.
And they're making some of the craft beers in Wuhan, in the craft brewery. So you can now get Brewdog made in China.
Yeah, I mean, if they're selling a lot, it makes sense, right? To partner with somebody else.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, just shipping costs are crazy. The time of shipping is crazy.
Exactly, and to be honest, who's got deeper pockets to take it onto an even bigger scale? No one's got deeper pockets than Budweiser.
I love I used to follow it almost every day when the news hit about Bud Light.
What happened with Bud Light?
You didn't hear?
No.
Not at all?
No, I must have been in Thailand on my 1-year hiatus on that.
Yeah, this happened in like March. I guess March of this year.
Oh, yeah, so I was.
So like there's the marketing manager person at Bud Light wanted to try to reach a younger audience, you know, more diversified audience. So they had this super famous transsexual woman named Dylan Mulvaney do a little plug on her or TikTok with the beer. So they printed out some cans with like her face on it, and then I gave it to her. It was like during like March Madness, which is like the college basketball championship, and so she posted her video, and then it just went like backfired in her face. Like all these like famous like country stars, like you know Kid Rock, the musician.
Yeah.
You know, so him and a bunch of others like started taking like Bud Light cans and like fuck Bud Light.
Oh really?
And, like, shooting them up with like their shotguns, and like sales plummeted. Oh. You know, like 30% You know, Bud Light used to be like the number 1 beer in America, and now it's like number 3, number 4.
I mean, it tastes like water, right? So it's
yeah, I mean, it's easy drinking beer. You know, it's
Yeah.
like in China, compare it to like a Qingdao.
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
You know, or a Harbin. You know, just
get everyone on an everyday
you know,
weekend.
gives you a nice little buzz, and you know,
You can have 10 or 12.
You can have 10 or 12. You know, smash them up. But they lost billions.
Wow.
You know, because of this. So
It's this cancel culture.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's just you know, everyone was protesting. Like bars, you know, didn't want to serve it anymore. They're like,
It's a bit over the top.
Yeah, they got serious about it. I mean, because
Wow.
you know, you think about Bud Light, right? It's like cowboys and hicks, and you know, blue collar, working class people. You know, that's who your customer base is, right? So like when you go to like California or the big cities, people want their craft beer and their, you know. But when you talk about middle of America, you know, that's like that's their jam. You know, that's what they want to pour. So, and then.
So what did people switch to if they weren't drinking Bud Light? What were they drinking?
You know, Modelo became
really?
super popular.
Yeah.
Coors, you know, got a boost.
Nice.
So
Actually, I've always liked Coors Light.
yeah, I like the Modelo. I always liked that beer. So, I never really drank Bud Light. Like my go-to was like a Corona.
Never had a Bud Light in my life.
Really? Yeah. I mean, when I was living in the States, it was always Corona.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you can't beat Corona.
With the
they got the whole lemon thing.
With the whole lemon thing, smash it in. Again, easy to drink.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it.
Cool bottle. You know. So.
Super.
Yeah. So they got. It was a great story, man. I was so into it when it hit, you know, and they're still affected by it. Like, you know, I don't think they'll ever fully will recover from it. You know, and especially like these people who have hard, like, I don't want to say morals, but like, you know, they want to keep to their word. You know, like once you lose like a customer,
I'm not going back.
You know, they're not going to go back. You know, and then like there was a while like where people would like drink, you know, Bud Light, and then they would get ridiculed like at the bar, like, oh, you fucking faggot, you know, or like all kind, you know, like fights would break out, and then they would show like there'd be video clips of like at the baseball game where you had like the Coors line, and there's like 30 people waiting, and then there's like the Bud Light booth, and there's like nobody, you know. So it was an interesting story. It was the first time like I think a brand got so much backlash, you know, for trying to.
Yeah, it's interesting in the world we're in these days as well.
Yeah,
so many people are going to support something like that side.
Right, the other side.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because usually it's like the opposite, like where.
Of course it is.
If you don't support it, like
they probably thought they were going to get double their volume
or something, you know. But yeah, they shot the foot of their base, you know, the customer base.
That is super interesting.
So yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers, mate.
So.
I'll keep a note of that.
Yeah, being in the industry, I'm surprised you didn't hear about it.
So in March, I was in Bali. So we're launching Everyday Weeknd in Indonesia, hopefully in October. Partnered up with a local brewery in Bali who are producing it for us. Import taxes there, pretty skyrocket. So it's better to produce it locally. So I was over in March just checking out what's going on in Bali, what the potential is.
You mean to produce it? So right now it's produced where? You
for
said
the sales. So production, Jeremy's looking after my partner.
And you said Vietnam or Philippines?
So Vietnam is for everywhere else in the world. We're producing and then in Bali.
Just for Bali.
Just for Indonesia.
Okay.
And our Bali, the potential's off the charts. I don't know if you've been to Bali.
No, I never.
Mate, go have a look. The beach clubs there are just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, if you want to have that nice, beautiful beach experience without all the craziness, like Bali is kind of like the place.
It's got the craziness.
Does it?
Yeah, beach clubs that you're talking 10,000 people, top DJs.
But craziness like Phuket has, that kind of.
I haven't been to Phuket, but it's a big party in Bali.
Or Pattaya.
Yeah, it's not like it's not bar girls and stuff like that. It's fun. It's just top DJs. And massive,
it's more fancy,
massive beach clubs. Yeah, right. Very fancy, very high end.
And I've never traveled to Thailand. I've never traveled in 10 years I've lived here. I've never been to the Philippines. You know,
you should get out more, man.
Never been to Bali. just stuck in my garden.
It's worth a trip.
So
Asia's your oyster.
yeah, well, when my kids get a little older, I want to.
They'll love it. I take my kids around. Kids have been to Bali, Philippines, Thailand. That's pretty much it in Asia. Yeah, and everywhere in China.
Yeah, China's there's so much to see as well.
Yeah,
so.
there is. Yeah. It's you can't for kids as well get to Sanya and stuff with the big water parks and Zhuhai with Chimelong. We were at Chimelong the other week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. That's obviously where the gin's from, in Zhuhai.
Yeah. So currently, like, how many countries do you have Everyday Weeknd in?
So I think So we're in Vietnam. We're in China as of in about 3 weeks. Hong Kong, same time frame. We're in Taiwan.
Okay.
Singapore, and launch in Indonesia in October.
Wow. What's the biggest market right now, or biggest selling country?
It's Taiwan. We're in 7-Eleven in Taiwan.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. So I work with a good company there that do a lot of retail. The issue with the rest of Asia is tax. So we've got big interest in Korea, Japan, but their import tax are huge, like 120% consumption tax on this type of product.
So if 120%, so if the can is $5, it's going to be $6 to import it.
$10 something, right?
Wow.
It's going to be more than double.
Right.
So it's impossible, and that's because it's a hard seltzer. So it's because it's not fermented.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're looking at right now is doing a brewed seltzer in a facility in Thailand, which will get around the tax, and then it'd actually be a different product, but obviously it's under our brand, and then we can get into countries where the tax is too high on the hard.
So if it's a fermented product, it's cheaper.
Like beer. Yeah, well, there's just the countries just have a different tax bracket. So brewed seltzer to Korea, the tax might be
like
20%.
So this would be under like a whiskey category or
this is a
gin category.
For China, it's called non-fermented spirituous product. Now they didn't even have that category until like this week. So it's like they just made it up.
Right.
No, they didn't. I mean that's, but I don't think anyone's actually used the category before. All I know this is because we've been told it's going to take customs 2 weeks to register the new HS code. But it means that we're bringing the drinking 100% legitimately as it should be described.
Right.
So the HS code is what gives you your tax bracket. And to be honest, if you don't know what you're doing and you've never been in China or in any country and never done importing and it's out of your comfort zone, you could easily make a mistake. And there's maybe 10 categories of HS codes that you would look at and be like, oh, well, it sort of fits under that. But it's like bringing a car in, but using the HS code for a bicycle.
Right.
You get in trouble eventually. So you've got to find out exactly, and if it's not there, you've got to talk to them, which is what we did. And so they've got a category now. It's called non-fermented spirituous drink.
So like they may like pass you with a different category, but if they figure out later on that it's not in this category, then
you're gonna have a problem.
A big problem.
And that's happened to people. There's a girl in jail right now who was bringing cider in from the UK and declaring it as beer. And she's been in jail for about 3 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, because cider and beer is almost the same thing, no?
But the tax difference is about 62% cider to 12% beer, or something around that ratio. So it's tax evasion massively.
I see.
So it's you've got to be careful from the start.
Yeah, I think that, and it's probably not just in China, but for any country where you're importing food and especially like alcoholic product, it's very tricky to bring into the market and get past the regulations. Yeah,
you've got to have a good broker agent. So for us this time around, obviously Top Shelf's closed. Mm. I'm using a really good agent in Yantian called Scott, and for a very big company You know,
And they help a lot of brands.
Yeah, all different and all different lines. Good relationships. It's about being able to talk back and forth with customers.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're bringing. Be very open and honest. You know, if in our terms, it's simply here's the ingredients list. Sometimes you might have an ingredient that's not allowed into China. We've had that with craft beer before.
Like what kind of ingredients? Like poppy seeds or something?
No, I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, I can't even think. But we've had beer destroyed by customs when they've said, no, that ingredient is illegal, it's banned in China.
Wow.
You know, and it might be an additive. So it's something that's just going to send the kids ADHD, mental, or not kids, obviously,
Right.
alcohol, but, you know, it's probably additives and stuff like that.
And so I was just looking at on the can, right? I know like China has very specific like barcodes and stamps for their product.
Yep. So we haven't got the China labels. These were just air freighted samples. So the China label for our products is actually just being finalized right now, like literally today.
So then once they approve you,
Yep.
so you send it to like this, like
So we send it to the factory once it's approved.
No, okay,
and
so
they're going to stick the China label. The China. So where this is all English here,
that's all going to be
it's all going to be Chinese.
Printed on the can, not a
Yeah,
sticker.
printed on the can, like this.
Right.
This is actually a sticker.
Oh, I see. It's a sticker
But
so
it's
that
a
wraps
really,
around.
really. It's a wrap. It's called.
Yeah,
So we'd been looking at this because this brings your MOQ down
the wrap.
with the factory. Because if you have to have printed cans, they want to do all your cans in one run.
Right.
So you like putting 1 million cans through.
Sure.
So doing it this way, it's just a load of plain aluminium cans,
Sure.
and then the MOQ is a lot lower. But we couldn't find anything anywhere with good quality. You were getting the wraps that were to here.
Oh, not
to here.
from the edge to
So
edge.
you can imagine, right, how it looks. So this is like you just thought this was printed, right?
Yeah, I did. I didn't even,
So it's absolutely brilliant, perfect. And, and you look at the bottom, expiry dates and stuff on there.
even on the bottom, unless you really start digging,
Yeah,
it's smooth. So-
Very good.
And this is all done in
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Fantastic. Vietnam, I was reading the other day, like cross-border e-commerce did 7.2 trillion USD last year.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in Vietnam.
So when you say like cross-border e-commerce,
Selling outside Vietnam.
so people make the stuff. So other outside companies will make stuff in Vietnam and then export it to China or nearby countries.
Everywhere now, because Amazon are doing a big deal with Vietnam. So Amazon Global.
Mm-hmm.
So again, for us, we want to tap into that.
Yeah, especially while it's developing and fresh and new, and
Exactly.
keep your prices low before they, 10 years from now they'll be a lot higher.
Fingers crossed we get into some.
That's awesome. So you'll take a can like this that I don't know has a USA barcode. You'll send that to customs and be like, hey, this is the product. They look at it. You show them the Chinese version or like a printout of it or something once they approve it.
So you've got a selection of documents that you need. Certificate of origin to prove where it's come from. Your invoice and packing list, ingredients list, your bill of lading, which is your shipping documents.
Sure.
And customs' job then is to check that everything you've already previously submitted matches, that there's no surprises, no mistakes. So
It's not like 100 tons extra somewhere hidden in
yeah,
the
so
wood.
weight's a big one, right? And people sometimes you be surprised at the mistakes, putting the weights down wrong.
Right.
A lot of beer breweries, the problem is, especially the big ones, they brew overnight. So they're brewing 24 hours a day. So a can comes off and gets a stamp at the end of it after it's been filled, and it's the 22nd of December. And at midnight 01, another can comes off, 23rd December, and they end up in the same box. But that box on the outside says 22nd of December.
So customs
And
be
when
like,
they open it, they see 23rd December. That can hold up the whole shipment in China.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that can be. And then you've obviously got to explain it, right?
Right.
And you know, it sounds simple to explain, but they're too busy to deal with stupid people.
Right.
So they just assume, well, the brewery obviously don't care and they're not taking us seriously.
So rejected.
Yeah, you can be held up for weeks.
And if they don't accept you, let's just say you bring a container in, and they don't like it, they say, no, sorry, you can't bring it to China. Will they give it back to you? Or is it like
it depends how bad it was, right?
like
If it's something plainly illegal, then they're not giving it back.
for sure?
If it's some mistakes on something, or the most common one in beer products would be an ingredient that suddenly ended up on the banned list, but it's banned, it's not illegal,
Right.
and you can see it's an honest mistake. Then they would basically watch you destroy the product and the rest of the content. So if you've got 5 different beers, one's got a problem, they'll watch you destroy one.
But you have to destroy it.
Yeah.
You can't like ship it back.
No,
You know?
no.
Wow. Yeah, so you really got to have like your T's crossed, your I's dotted.
Do your due diligence, yeah.
You know, it's a huge costly mistake in time, right? Which is more valuable than money.
Especially when you got expiry dates.
Right.
You know, you talk 12 months on most products, so.
Well, also too, like, you know, if there's a bar and they want your product and you have a shipment delayed and they can't sell your product,
They're going to take someone else.
They're going to move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you imagine big retail like Walmart, Sam's Club.
You know,
They're not going to have an empty shelf.
Yeah, they'll replace it in a second.
You're never getting back in.
Yeah, you know, it's gone.
Yeah.
So.
And some big retail might even have penalty clauses.
Sure.
So if you're out of stock, you actually get fined.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they want their customers to go there and find what they want.
And that's right. And if you got a retail base that's potentially serving millions of people, you know, you're going to have to do your best to be in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's your golden ticket when you're in like a Walmart or a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only a certain amount of beers that can be on that shelf.
Man,
you know? And especially when you talk about Walmart, okay, they have a huge, nice selection, but when you talk about 7-Eleven,
nah, not many.
You know, it's 2 fridges.
You guaranteed there won't be another international hard seltzer if you got in.
Right. So how long did it take you guys to actually, from original concept to tasting to approved flavors to in a final can?
So I got to give kudos to Jeremy because Jeremy founded it and then asked me to come in.
Okay.
And he probably got it all off the ground in about 5 months. We started selling in New Zealand first.
And it's doing well in New Zealand?
It's doing okay, not as well as expected. But there's a lot of competition in New Zealand. There's more RTDs, ready to drinks there than anywhere per capita.
Okay.
And also they have the laws, so you can't sell alcohol in a supermarket like here.
You cannot?
No, so they have to be separate liquor stores. It's a lot more complicated, and
sure.
You know, it's a difficult market. But I think
you can sell beer. You can sell beer at the supermarket.
I don't know. I've never been there, but I know you can't. I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's got to be separate stores.
That's ridiculous.
It's a bit like, I mean, Australia. Again, I don't recall going to a supermarket, but they have the same, I think, because it's like Dan Murphy's and Coles, where there's just thousands of these liquor booze shops all over the country.
Wine and beer.
So you'd think if supermarkets were selling booze too, there'd be no need for them.
For sure.
So I'm assuming it's the same.
At our supermarkets, we can sell wine and beer and liquor.
Yeah, you can in the UK.
In the US too, yeah. So,
yeah, everything's in.
But they do have like a Bevmo, which is kind of like the candy land of alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? So
pick a mix. 300
beers, you know, all the different wines that you could imagine, all the different alcohol flavors. Right? Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like going to like a supermarket just for, you know, this particular product.
Yeah.
So,
The UK used to have them, off licenses we call them, but they're pretty much dead. Dead with a smoking ban.
so he got it off the ground himself.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Invited you to help do sales.
Getting investors. Sales. Yeah, so I did well off track of booze. When COVID came and killed the beer business, I got into the medical business, and it's actually this year like this. So I met a guy in a bar the Christmas just before COVID started.
Okay, because this is Christmas.
2020? Would it have been?
No, it'd been 19. Christmas 19.
I think COVID started February 21.
No, 2020 it started.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. God, it's gone fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Christmas 19. I meet Michael. He's got a company doing casino tables, and we became mates. And then I noticed he was doing PPE when COVID started.
But he was already doing this, or is this like
he just got into it as well? Well, he was just talking about it.
Before COVID?
No.
There's no COVID?
He was doing casino tables. I'm doing beer.
Okay. But in Christmas time, there wasn't really...
No, this is February now. So we met at Christmas.
Oh, so you met at Christmas.
Exchanged WeChat.
Right.
Then I'd seen him in a group talking about PPE. And then my neighbour worked for Tencent.
Mm-hmm.
And she was heading up a department donating, buying PPE to donate around the world. So she asked me if I could get Tyvek suits, them white suits that you saw dots wearing and that. So I called Michael, because I've seen him posting. And he says, yeah, I've got a mate who's an English teacher in Brazil.
Right.
Tyvek factories in Brazil. Let's ask him. Talked to, what was his name? Might have been Chris or something. I can't remember his name.
Sure.
COVID
Chris.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Tyvek factory's down the road.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down to the factory. This is the first day.
So in Brazil.
This is the first day. He's gone in the factory. Yeah, we can supply them. On the Friday, Tencent have sent like $500,000 US or 300,000 US, whatever, to Michael's company.
Wow.
He's then sent money to Brazil. And by Monday, there's a shipment of Tyvek suits on the way.
To where?
To China, to Tencent. To go to a hospital in China that they're going to donate. All went absolutely smooth, perfect.
And good quality?
Yeah, it was from DuPont, from the proper factory. So everything was
DuPont
perfect.
factory, okay.
Yeah. So I thought, and it's actually Michael said, why don't you email that health ministry of yours in the UK? The UK's in the shit, and it was in the shit, right? So I thought, yeah. So he was called Matt Hancock, the health minister. So I go online on Google, and I find his email address. And I send him an email. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm in China. From reading the Sun newspaper, you've got no medical supplies there. Maybe I can help. I get a reply off his secretary, directing me to the supply chain website. So I went through that one, get another email, another website, go through that one. Then I get a phone call off a guy, and he's like, hey, I'm from the Department of Health Social Care. You've been approved as a supplier for the NHS.
Holy shit.
Can you send through your documents for the factory? At this stage, I don't even have a factory.
Right.
So I call Michael. All right, mate, been approved. Need a factory. And he's like, no problem. And we end up working with a company called King Far in Guangzhou.
So you didn't even use the Brazil company?
No, that's gone as that. Now we're doing masks.
Right.
So we worked with King Far, and I spent 2 months then on technical with King Far, making sure that, because King Far are in the top 5 melt-blown plastic companies in the world. They were supplying the raw material to the factories that already made masks and PPE medical.
Sure.
So they were, obviously COVID came, their chairman directed them to start making masks.
Sure. Because they're supplying all the materials to the people making masks.
Yes.
So, and now mask is in huge need.
Yep.
So use that material yourself and make more money.
Exactly. So yeah, so they became our supplier.
Wow.
And then I spent 2 months going on technical, then going through contractual, to the point where the UK government wanted the goods shipping, inspecting, then pay.
Right.
King Far have never worked on this before, and in the end, the chairman just turned around to his legal team who didn't want to do the deal
Right.
because of the payment terms and just said, look, if I'm going to get screwed over, at least I'm getting screwed by a British queen.
Right.
Sign the contract.
Right.
And we did 242 million masks. It was like 98 million US dollars, the total sale. And did well on the commission side, me and Michael. And from that, then Jeremy calls me, do I want to do this? And I'm like, well, I've just got this commission.
You just got some fat pockets.
Good timing.
Yeah, man, that's like so crazy, like just like a chain of circumstances. And then also you're like, you know, Googling, what was his name? Matt Hancock.
And,
you know?
But it was all legit. Everything was 100, you know.
Right.
Everything we did was legitimate. I actually got 2 more factories approved. We could have done 750 million masks, but they failed the due diligence when the government did background checks. The China banks that they used wouldn't supply any info, just wouldn't reply. And that was failure. So I could have actually had 3 contracts of the same value.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, because I think during that time too, like a lot of these small factories were producing really low quality.
There was some terrible stuff, and my big concern always was, it's my government. I want to go back there, right? My concern before making money or anything was making sure they didn't get ripped off.
To do right by them.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So.
You know, my first thing I said to the chairman's assistant when I was talking to the UK, I was like, man, we're in the shit in the UK. We really need this. You know, he reminds me now. He's like, Jay, it was never about the money. I remember you calling me. He always reminds me it was never about the money. It's like you wanted to help. And I'm like, you know, sometimes you forget that, right? You know, time goes by and things happen with money as well, where, man, as soon as people hear you got money, you know, it's boom, 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 right? And, you forget actually why you started it.
Right.
I didn't start it for the money. You know, I genuinely wanted to help my country get some valuable medical supplies they didn't have.
But also the money is and that nice bonus at the end.
Mate, it means I can sit here with you and
talk about Everyday Weeknd.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, I just killed my glass, dude.
I'm slow.
Which one should I try first? Mango?
Yeah, try the mango first.
Should I just do it from the can? Should I get a new piece of ice?
Yeah, I do it from the can. Although it's been sitting a while, if you want to get a couple of glasses of ice, because it has been sitting a while.
Let's get a
little taste first.
Yeah, we'll have a little taste and then we'll get some ice. Oh, that's nice, man. Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Put this on some ice.
Let's fill these up.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, mate. Super.
Nice. Is it easy?
Yeah, that's the idea. Like the demographics for us are 65% women.
For the seltzers?
Yeah. You know, and it is easy drinking, and you want something that people can just enjoy, not get carried out of the bar at the end of the night.
Right. You know?
But I mean, for guys like us, we would easily smash a case of this each.
Oh, in a second, you know.
And for hot climates, in our target Southeast Asia, perfect at the beach.
What's the percentage?
5%.
5%,
Yeah.
And low sugar, which is nice.
Yeah, that's been only natural extracts in there. So you get some of them, the sugar contents are off the charts.
Just super sweet and you know.
All the ones you would get now in a convenience store in China would be really high sugar.
Right.
So our biggest competitor is going to be Suntory, Japan.
That's another
whiskey company. They make seltzers, and you know they're by far the biggest right now in Southeast Asia. So that's sort of who we're going up against.
I see. In the U.S., I think like the Happy Dad is kind of taken over.
And it's funny because my partner Jeremy's been in fashion for 15 years, fashion manufacturing, fashion designing. So he actually wanted to do this because of Happy Dad.
Oh, really? So that was kind of like the inspiration.
That was his inspiration because he loves the fashion side,
Mm-hmm.
the apparel side. So we do have some cool concepts in terms of clothing, in terms of merchandise and things that can go with this. So we know there's going to be a lot of things happening. Our launch in China is going to be probably after the October holiday now.
Okay.
I think we're going to do it in Bayer, in Sherco, the first launch party.
Okay.
For Guangdong. And, you get all the key opinion leaders, they call them, the KOLs coming down and,
Sure.
And hopefully getting photos with this, photos with T-shirts, photos with bags.
Yeah, I'll go.
Everything else.
You gotta let me know.
You'll be invited, mate. Definitely.
I'll bring the cameras.
You'll be VIP.
There you go, dude. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I actually before, because I watch a lot of YouTube and I follow a lot of I don't want to call them influencers, but YouTubers.
Yep.
And then the Nelk Boys who created the Happy Dad.
Yeah.
I was watching their videos, and then all of a sudden they launched this Happy Dad.
I think they're selling more in apparel and merchandise than they are in booze. I think they're doing 30 million a month.
That's what they. That was kind of their bread and butter was the merchandise.
Yeah.
Right. They were so popular on YouTube with their pranks and their videos and stuff like that, and so they would do these merchandise drops that was exclusive. Once it's sold out, you can never buy it again.
Yep.
Right.
Very smart guys.
Very smart business people. And then I watched the whole because I started following them before they even talked about or had Happy Dad.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't want to do a beer, we don't want to do an alcohol,
do something more fun.
So we do a hard seltzer.
Yeah.
And then they just blew up. Now it's all in all the liquor stores, I think 7-Elevens.
And what you see in America now, all the big breweries who are doing beer have added a seltzer because they have no choice.
Because they want to compete.
The sales have grown so
much,
so fast. So the good thing for us being in Southeast Asia, where it's new, you want to be at the front of a trend.
Happy Dad isn't here yet.
No. Well, the taxes, right?
Right.
So that's the reason. So, with us producing in Vietnam, we're part of ASEAN, which is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which means, so you've got your VAT, you've got your consumption tax, but then you have your, I can't remember the name of it, but you got a third tax, which if we weren't producing in Vietnam or any other country that has a free trade agreement, the extra tax would be 60%.
Wow, that's huge.
So it's huge, yeah. So someone coming from America or Canada can't do it because they have no free trade agreement with China, and they don't have free trade with most Southeast Asian countries, as far as I know.
Right.
So the price would be too high. So it gives us a competing advantage on price.
Sure, I understand that. It's good, man. I like it.
Well, mate, we've entered 2 major awards competitions this year, major ones, and we've come away with the top prizes in both. So it gives me great heart that we're on to a winner.
Yeah, that's when you enter these legitimate competitions, it's validation that you actually have a good product. It's anybody can sell anything, but when you have a product that that you believe in,
exactly,
it's so much more motivating.
I've always found, because my thing is sales, and when you're selling through honesty, it's easy.
Right.
When you're having to lie to sell something that's shit,
right,
then eventually you're going to come up short. So when you've got a quality product, a world-class product in your category, and also then it's something that you've got love and passion for, then it's very easy to sell it.
For sure. And right now you have 4 flavors?
Yep. So
I'm disappointed. I was, I saw the
pineapple and ginger, yeah.
Because I'm a big ginger person. I'm a big pineapple's probably one of my favorite fruits.
Oh really?
So when I saw that,
brings me out in spots.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You can't eat it? You're allergic?
Pineapple, I'm allergic.
Oh shit, man. Yeah,
not good for me.
I'm crazy. Like,
Although I drank some and didn't, so.
So even if you drink it, it'll still.
I was all right. No. When I eat a lot of it, it's not good.
It definitely like if you eat too much, it kind of like makes your mouth sore.
It's a burning thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's very
exactly.
acidic-y.
Yeah, I think it is the acid.
So.
But yeah, no, we're.
But that combination sounds delicious. You know?
It is, yeah, it is. It's really nice. And then watermelon and mint.
Yeah, that sounds like a winner too.
So we're going step by step. We're launching these 2 flavors in China in October, and then we'll be launching the next 2 flavors.
So you just start. So you're starting with these 2.
Yeah.
And then later you'll drop the.
Yeah, because we haven't. So we've gone a different route. Normally, you would bring a brand to the country, and you wouldn't bring it in without an import agent that also distributes. So someone who imports and distributes your category. We haven't done that. We haven't gone to a beer import or anything like that. We're doing it ourselves. So we're using an import agent, but then we're doing all the sales ourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, the advantage that you have though is that you're doing Top Shelf for years.
Yeah, so I've got the network.
So the network, if you didn't have the network, you'd be fucked.
Totally. Yeah,
So,
you'd have to find somebody. But it means we can be better on price. We can also control marketing.
Right.
One thing I've learned from Top Shelf and from mistakes, if you do a scattergun approach and you try and do the whole of China, it's such a big country, right?
Yeah.
You don't have enough focus on key things. And, so what you might gain in this week by doing that, you're going to lose in a few weeks because you're not going to get reorders there where people are getting love. So we're only focusing on Guangdong in October, and then we'll add.
So it's like region by region.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best way in my mind, the best way to do it. And we're going a lot more on terms of the young Chinese marketing, getting the KOLs, getting on Chinese TikTok. Is it Douyin?
Douyin, something like that.
Yeah, things like that. And building the brand image faster than we're going to build actual sales numbers. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the past, it's all been about how many cases can we sell. We were just chatting outside about parallel importing. So parallel importing is, for example, we were doing Brewdog before, and that's when you have exclusivity for a product, and then suddenly it starts coming in the country from other sources. So someone in the Virgin Islands, which has got a population of like 30,000 people, orders 10 containers of Brewdog. Right? And then it's not going there, right? Unless they're all drinking 15 cases a day each, every single person on.
So what you're basically saying is like, so your company had the exclusive agreement with the brand, with the Brewdog, and only you guys are allowed to import this into China.
Yeah.
But then somehow other people would bring it into the country.
Of course, yeah. So they get a friend in another country who's already importing it. That's the easiest way, and buy from them, and they on-ship it. We were getting it where Brewdog would put trackers in the containers. And
like physical, like with GPS trackers?
Yeah, because they want to see what's going on.
Right.
Which customer are doing this. So someone in the British Virgin Islands buys 10
so they noticed you guys found a problem, and then they started putting trackers in?
Yeah.
So how did you guys find out? So firstly, how did you find out this was a problem?
Because the China back label has the import company's name on it. Mm-hmm. So our imported product has Top Shelf's Chinese company name on it. The
printed on the
can.
On the can.
Yeah, or sticker.
Okay.
And that's law in China. The ones that are coming in from somewhere else either don't have a sticker because they're being smuggled in, or they have a sticker with another import agent. So we find that. Then we contact Brewdog or whatever the brewery is.
You don't contact the agent.
No. We let them. We let that. We've got a contract with the brewery, right?
Right.
They then go and contact. They then do their investigation. We had a shipment that was tracked all the way through Korea. That came in on a truck into North China.
Did it start like South Korea and then North Korea?
I think it got dropped off in Holland, that particular container. So from Rotterdam in Holland, it got tracked all the way on a ship, ended up in South Korea.
Driven across into North Korea.
Into North, over the border into China.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that must even be just costly too, right?
Unreal. But the difference is, for Top Shelf, we're hiring foreign employees.
Right.
We've got warehousing, Shanghai, expensive, delivery, cold delivery as well, all over the country. So our cost on this side is a lot higher than someone who just wants to trade. All they want to do is bring in a container,
sell it, get the
and
cash,
get rid of it, right?
Right.
So they're not bringing it in cold. When it gets to Rotterdam, it's getting put into a normal container.
So it's this is a craft beer considered.
Yeah,
so it needs to be cold, right?
Yeah, so the brewery are good. They're really good. They want to be on top of this. All the breweries want to stop this.
Right.
But one thing I know is from a brand.
And if it doesn't go cold, it means it's gonna go bad. I mean, if it's shipped, I mean,
it's going to lessen the shelf life.
Okay.
And it's definitely going to lessen the taste won't be the same.
Right. So the quality of the product, if it doesn't stay cold.
We had to control the same in China
Yeah.
to make sure our distribution agents also had cold storage. Because otherwise, what's the point? We're going to all that expense using a cold container to China, using cold storage.
And do you ever have a problem with customs, like not keeping it cold?
They leave the container on. They leave the AC, the refrigeration's on the whole time.
So it's actually the container itself
is a cold.
It's refrigerated.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. So
It's like powered by battery.
It's same as bringing in a stack of beef.
But so the container itself is
It's like a car, right? You've got a container. It's linked to the car battery, and it's an AC unit.
I get that point, but like, okay, so
I guess it's it's petrol powered, really, isn't it?
But inside the container, there's like a petrol tank.
Just a big AC. I don't know.
Or like so when it arrives to like the port, right, or the customs.
Yeah.
It's not like they have to like plug it in. It's
it's still going.
It's still
going. As long
going.
as that engine's turning.
I see. And that engine's good for 3 weeks or something.
No. You can have trouble. If it gets confiscated, but then customs will have refrigerated warehouse, but you're paying for it. So if you've got a problem with your container and they have to store it for you, you're paying them storage.
Sure.
So you got port fees every day. Every day that your container's in port, you're paying a fee.
So going back to this, trekking through North Korea. So how did you find out about the problem?
Because we found the products with a different back label.
But where? Like at a bar? Your bar?
You get distributors all over China calling you up because we've got distribution partners buying off us.
Mm-hmm.
So their mate next door in the same complex in Beijing, for example,
right,
is buying that one cheaper
than yours.
Yeah, so he's pissed off, right? So he's ringing us, and that's how we find out.
Also, your distribution partner saw another distribution company buying the same product for cheaper.
Different back label. So he's notifying us to stop it. Otherwise, he's going to stop buying off us.
Right. He might switch over to the cheap guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So Brewdog, they put it. So you started to find a problem.
Yeah, they were always great. Like as breweries go, they were a really good partner for us.
So, but did they put trackers inside the containers?
Yeah, a lot of them do. They'll put it in a pallet.
It's just automatically. So once they found out the problem, they already had the tracker inside.
So they can find out where it's gone to.
So they can see, okay, it was shipped to here, but then it moved over to here.
And then they'll cut that customer off.
Right.
So if it was some guy in Rotterdam or someone in Estonia or someone in BVI, they'll cut them off.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah, but one thing I was a distributor. I was an importer and distributor. Now I'm a brand owner.
Right.
So if you talk to one of the biggest success stories in China is Duvel Morgat, Vedette.
Okay.
They're huge, right? They're by far the biggest imported beers in China. It's like they bought the Great Leap Brewery so they can make Vedette in China now, which is a huge brewery in Tianjin. And huge success story. They had so much parallel products coming in their early years. That's when you know you've made it as a brand.
Yeah, because
people are searching that hard and laying their cash out
to get that product in.
Yeah, just a little bit cheaper.
Right.
You know you made it. So if we start seeing Everyday Weeknd coming in from different countries, that's when I know, we've made it. Yeah. Obviously, we'll be the same. You want to protect you got to protect your buyer, right? And you got to be loyal.
You got to protect your supply chain.
You got to be
you know?
loyalty, right? It's all loyalty. Some of our bros, I won't name names, we would ring up about parallel. They wouldn't give a shit. The answer would be so what, right?
Right.
So that's not protecting our interests.
Not at all.
We've been partners for years. So
I mean, it's like a slap in the face.
Totally, right? So that's what you've got to weigh up as the brand owner. You know, you've got to be loyal. You know, and as a person anyway in life, you know, loyalty is more important than money.
Right.
You know, but some of our bros were loyal in that respect. They didn't really care.
Yeah, they're just scared about it. Once it's sold, once it leaves the factory and it's sold,
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
they're done.
Well,
they did their job.
For me being a Taurus, I would just boom. We won't work with you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to not support your distribution partners. You know, I mean, they're
Not
working
at
hard
all.
to like get your product in the bars or in the shelves of stores.
And we put way more effort than anyone else to get into the bars and stuff. Like the investment we put into the market to get on a tap was huge.
Right.
You know, when we closed in December, we had probably 500,000 R&B of beer machines left over. You know, just constant investment in the business.
Was that a hard choice? I mean, was it like
Not for me, because I'd left anyway, because obviously my personal situation. So I was not focused. I didn't at that point. I didn't know if I was coming back to China. It's my personal situation with family. So I was when I got the call off Gary saying that we were thinking about closing. For me, it was okay. You know, let's just make sure the staff are all right. You know, I was still working on the books when I got that call in August last year.
And this was last year?
August last year, yeah. So Brewdog just notified us. They gave us 6 months' notice that they were moving to Budweiser. That's what Gary told me. So
Budweiser distributor? Or Budweiser bought them?
Budweiser company to distribute Brewdog in China. And Brewdog was our biggest brand.
Right.
So we couldn't survive without them. So for me, you know, it was like, right, you know, it's the main thing we've got to think about now is if we're going to close the business, everything's got to be done properly. So there's no tax bills outstanding, no, you know,
No legal problems.
No legal problems. And then, you know, I was still on salary. I was still working, but I was living in Thailand. I'd left in May last year, left China. So this is August. So I just said, look, I'll resign now. Let's get my salary off the books because it's more important that the daily staff are getting paid as long as they can, and then we kept everyone on until the end of the year, and then everything's been fine, shutting it down and no obligations.
And then you have Everyday Weeknd.
Mate, Everyday Weeknd.
You know, it's like the perfect transition. You know?
Yeah, mate,
I mean, I think
it's
that
good.
the experience that you had with Top Shelf,
Being a distributor and importer
Right,
to now a brand owner, it's better.
you know, and like you said, we were talking about before, it's like you have a huge network.
Yep.
You know, you've already done the legwork, you know, to know bars, to know other distributors, you know, other people that can put your product on shelves, and now you have your product.
Exactly, and you own something when you own a brand.
Right.
The problem we had with Top Shelf, we didn't own anything.
Yeah, it's just
We were working for the brands, basically.
and they could leave it at any time they wanted.
And that's what eventually kills you, right?
Right.
You know, so, and obviously COVID.
COVID was a hard one.
COVID for sure. I mean, before COVID, we took Stone on, and we'd started getting good numbers with Stone. But then COVID hits, and it's a more expensive beer. You've got the USA, China trade conflict.
And
if you like, right?
Stone's out of US.
Stone's out the US, so you've got that extra tariff on the tax, because they were doing reciprocal tax issues, 25%, 25,
Yeah.
So
Tit for tat
a
bullshit.
lot of stuff hit at the same time,
Right.
because Stone's an amazing brand.
Is it still available in China?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I think it is. Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere in Shenzhen though.
Yeah. It was a good beer. I liked it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So-
You know, I met the founder, Greg Koch. We had a dinner up in Shanghai. You know, the reason Works with Stone is they tried to poach me from Top Shelf.
Oh, really?
Made me an incredible offer
To do what? To be
to
there?
go and head up their China sales because they're going to do it themselves.
Okay.
And I went through a pretty intensive interview process with them. And in the end, I'm loyal and I couldn't leave Gary and Sean.
Right.
And man, it was an incredible offer. At that point, I was paying mortgages, paying car repayments.
Right.
My salary every month was going straight out.
Yeah.
I was hustling
The
on the
working
side.
man.
I was selling cases of vodka on the side for my mate's company to pay for Christmas presents for the kids, right? And it was a big offer from them, life-changing offer at the time. And I couldn't do it. And I ended up saying to them, look, if you want to work with me, just let us import and distribute for you. And I think they thought I was mad. And they had us go over and I had to do a pitch in San Diego, Escondido.
Yeah.
And a guy called Dan was the on the board. He used to work, I think he worked for Nike. And, you know, chiseled, older guy. Didn't give a fuck, right? Because he's made his money and he's there for the love of the beer.
Right. Yeah.
So he's not giving any favours. And I gave the pitch of my life. He was, you know, up there with a Matt Hancock pitch. And we got the brand, you know, and it was a big deal. It was, for our company, a huge deal.
And you got to spend time in San Diego. It's a nice place.
Mate, I loved it.
Yeah.
Solana Beach. We stayed down there at the Holladay Inn, I think. Absolutely fantastic place. And, mate, your food. You're getting steaks. Like every bar I went to, the plates are that big. You know, I'm a big lad, I can eat, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, I miss California. California has great food. Great
beer, great weather.
Great people.
Yeah.
You know, great weather.
Chatting to an Uber driver one night, a Mexican guy, inviting us down to Tijuana.
Did you go?
Didn't have our passports.
Oh,
Man, I would have been on that road trip.
dude, yeah, Tijuana's it's so crazy because like Tijuana's like just across the border,
Right.
but it's a totally different world. I've only been there once. You know,
he was going to take us to a club called Bangkok or Shanghai or something.
yeah, some dirty place.
yeah, nothing
You
good.
know?
Nothing good would have happened.
Go see some donkey shows. You know, some nasty. You know, yeah, Tijuana's crazy. It's like a gangster's paradise. You know.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's good our passports were locked away in the safe.
Yeah, you gotta.
But that's my first ever weed experience.
Was in
San Diego.
Yeah, it's legal there.
Yeah, so we got an Uber, and first thing we did, we asked him, "Could we drink?" So he was in, so we give him an extra $100 up front. Like, look, this is in the top of the bill. They let us drink. And then
he said, yeah, because normally you're not supposed to. It's illegal to have.
It's illegal, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't have open containers in the car.
He took us from weed shop to weed shop, and you go in the weed shops like a container, a steel container, so two together. You go in the first one, and there's like I used to be a bouncer in Leeds, so there's these big bouncers, and then one of them's taking your ID.
Yeah, or passport.
I had nothing with me except my China working visa card. That's the only thing I had, mate. And he somehow let me in with a China working visa card.
He never saw it before in his life.
Nah, that's it. It's just like, yeah, okay. So mate, we bought every edible in the shop.
Yeah.
And never done weed in my life, you know, and tried an edible. Man, I was crawling past the reception to my bed.
The Holladay Inn.
Yeah, I can hand on heart say, never touching weed again.
Yeah, it's crazy because like ever since it's become legal, like the potency and the product
goes through the roof.
Product
right?
development, you know, is incredible.
Now you got about 5 million PhDs working.
You know, because I remember when I was a kid, like my dad, like, you know, he loves to smoke. So, but, you know, he'd get this like dirty Mexican weed that comes in like these bricks, you know,
Yeah.
you know, that had like zero potency, but just gets you, you know, high enough, you know. But then
And now it's just extreme.
now it's like fucking on a rocket ship.
Got to give a big shout out to Carl again in Samui because you've got some dope weed going on. So Thailand is now legal, right?
Yeah.
Weed.
So
So Carl's got a. So I was in Koh Samui for about 6 months, staying in my friend's place, and he's built a weed farm since it's been legal, and he's got the best strains ever, best names,
right.
and also the best candies.
Nice, dude.
So it's exploding over there. I do wonder, like when you look at Southeast Asia, is the whole legal weed thing gonna spread?
It has to. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it does. We have to
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I couldn't imagine like traveling. Let's say Singapore, where it's so strict on things like that. Suddenly it being illegal.
It's good. I mean,
How do they switch? But Thailand used to be so strict.
I think it's, you know, it's. I think eventually everything's gonna be common sense. You know, it just needs time to filter, because even in the U.S. it's not legal everywhere.
No,
you know?
right, exactly.
But you know,
It'll never be legal in China because
living in China, when I moved here, weed wasn't legal in California, and then after I came here, then it became legal, and so I missed the whole revolution.
Have you been back?
I've been back since then. I did the same thing that you have. When I went to the little shop, I just pretty much bought one of everything.
Yeah.
And I went home and just
a couple of carry bags.
I went home and just chilled.
Oh, nice.
So, cheers, man.
Cheers, mate.
And I've seen you, man. Like, you're a, you know, rugby player. You're a big guy like myself. I've seen you go through like ups and downs of fitness.
Body shape.
Yeah. So, what was like the first like? Because I remember like for a long time. Also, me, like I barely do any kind of physical sports. Recently, I've tried to go to the gym, not as consistent as I was hoping.
Yeah.
But what was the click for you?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I went for a full body checkup, and everything was bad, right, in the numbers.
High blood pressure, fatty liver.
Really fatty, severe fatty liver, and they found a tumour on my liver.
On the liver itself.
On the liver, yeah. So I had, and at that time, you know, they say, you got a tumour. You don't know if it's cancer. I went on my own for a cancer CT. Never had a CT in my life, never had a cancer CT. So they put the drip on you, which they're going to pump liquid in when you're in the machine.
It's like the fluorescent ink or something.
That's right, yeah. It goes all over your body looking for cancer cells. And you're in the CT machine, then laid down in darkness for, I don't know, 20 minutes. Seems like forever, right? It's not a nice sensation when they pump the liquid through you. And then you wait a couple of days for the results. So, you know, at this time I'm talking to my friend back in England, and he's talking about water fasting for the other stuff like the high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, things like that. I get the CT scan result. Luckily, it was benign. The tumour. Happy days. I went to see the liver doctor, and I've got severe fatty liver, not cirrhosis. So the doctor said to me, I said, okay, what do I do? You know, is he a super drug? He said, running every day, exercise, no sugar, no alcohol for 2 years.
2 years.
And you can reverse it. So I said, okay. So I started a water fast. After talking to my friend, I started looking at a doctor in America, California. True North Health Clinic is called Alan Goldhamer, and he's been using water fasting for 40 years to cure disease. So I did a 24-day water fast.
24 days.
24 days. So only water. I was using a little bit of pink salt, a little bit of
Is 24 days like the maximum you can do it?
No, so the record's 100. If you go to True North Health, they'll do up to 40. But 24 is a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you talk to a lot of people who do 3 days, 1 day, intermittent fasting 1 day a week. 24 days is... I've never met anyone that's done that. So I did it. I did 24 days, and then you got to refeed really slowly. You can't just go eat a Big Mac the next day.
Go eat a
right?
big steak and fries.
Yeah, you'd go into like some refeeding syndrome and get really sick,
Right.
potentially fatal. So you refeed on broth. So you a bit of broth soup for half the time you fasted. So basically, you're fasting really for 36 days. Maybe by about day 30, you're getting into the calorie intake where you'd come out of autophagy. So I got a photo here. This is me. In total, this is 8 weeks, and this is me before and after.
Let me see. Wow, that's huge. Let me put it here. You look. It's like two different people.
Two different people, and I felt amazing.
I mean, the guy on the right looks like he's been working out all of his life.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And you can see the side view as well.
That's crazy.
So that was
When was this? How long ago?
2 years ago. And I went back to see the liver doctor and went for the ultrasound, and it was the same nurse. And so she took the ultrasound, and then, I don't speak much Chinese at all, and she's shaking her head, and she says, I've got to do it again. And I'm thinking, shit.
Uh-oh. Something wrong?
Yeah, something's going on. The tumor got bigger, or the fatty liver's got worse. What's going on? And she does it again. And then she starts laughing and smiling this time. And she gives me the paper. And I have a look. And I'm just like, I've gone from severe fatty liver to moderate fatty liver. The next one down is no fatty liver, right?
And this was in 2 months? 8 weeks?
Yeah, 8 weeks. And the doctor couldn't believe it. He was happy. And he's like an old guy. And he said to me, in 40 years of doing that, he's seen thousands and thousands of patients. And I'm the second person ever to do that.
To turn that around so fast.
And my blood pressure had gone down enough to get off the pills. And so, it's always... I'm no health expert, but why doctors don't recommend this? To me, it's got to be about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more beneficial to big pharma companies to prescribe people pills when they get very, very sick.
Yeah, well, there's that famous quote, right, where there's no money in the cure, there's money in the treatment.
Yeah, exactly, that's right. So I would say to people, research fasting if you've got a problem, and crack on if you think it's good for you. And once you get past about day 5, it's easy.
Yeah, I think that the reality is in the time that we live in, like the majority of people's health problems is
self-inflicted from food.
Just from food,
Drink, everything we consume.
Everything we consume. I don't even want to like. A lot of people don't drink, or drink very little, but like the food that we eat is so poorly made, and so lacking of nutrition.
Yep.
Right, and then on top of that, you're dealing with pesticides, hormones, and everything that they put into the food. That you eat.
Gutter oil.
And plus I'm not even talking about like in China, just in general, like
world,
the Monsanto companies with Roundup and whatever else they put on the plants, all the shit that they inject into livestock. It's just like that's like when you talk about like the world and society and stuff like that, I think that's probably, in my view, that's like the biggest tragedy of society and of the life that I live in, is that the fact that how we produce food, is not done for benefit, but for profit.
100%. 100%. Yeah. There should be no place for McDonald's and Burger King and all this fast food crap.
There can be, but like at least like make it quality, ingredients. Maybe you can't produce it, so
they wouldn't be able to do it cheap enough, right? And that's why.
Yeah, I mean that's the
I drive a lot in China, and you pull up at a service station, you want a break, man, you better have brought a packed lunch.
there's nothing.
No, the choices
You
are
know?
terrible. It's just,
It's,
and you know, it's stuff that's been there 2 or 3 days, reheated 5 times, put on display.
right.
You know, and that's the same probably half of the world, right?
Well, even if you go to like the supermarket, right? Like it's all the drinks you can buy are sugar drinks.
Yeah.
You know, loaded with coloring and sugar.
And that's
Right.
another reason we wanted to do this.
Right. Yeah, it's
Low sugar and natural ingredients.
that's so important, you know.
And it costs us more money to do it. You know, our cost is higher by doing it this way. But that's what we want to, that's what we believe in.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about before. It's like when you have a when you have a product that you fully believe in, you know,
Yeah.
it's so much more of a joy to be a part of.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of like these like Netflix documentaries about medicine, about food, and just growing up in California, it's also people are more conscious about it.
I noticed in
So-
California there's a lot more health
Yeah,
awareness.
like, and it was such a like I think that was one of like the biggest changes for me. Like, I picked up a lot of most of my weight just living in China.
Yep.
You know, and I was definitely like when I was living in California, I was much more active. You know, go camping, go hiking. Also, too, like where I bought my food. Like, majority of, I was very blessed for the area that I lived in. Like, we had farmers markets 3 days a week.
Nice.
You know, so like majority of my produce and things that I purchased all came directly from the farmers.
Yeah.
You
Good.
know, clean food. You know,
Yeah.
craft cheese. You know, just like.
I'm liking my local coffee shop now because I get a beef salad,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm inside the coffee shop, I'll be like, yeah, no dressing,
Right.
just give me the beef avocado salad. And now they've cottoned on where I live, so when I'm ordering off Meituan or whatever from them,
They know.
they know, yeah. First couple
no
of times
dressing.
it's coming with dressing,
Right.
and then now it's like no dressing. They just send it. But it is a problem in China, and a problem in a lot of countries. It's not health focused. It's not early as well. You know, like I'm an early riser. You know, so I want to wake up and I want to have a coffee. I want to go for a walk, have a breakfast early. There's nowhere open here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you wake up at 5, 6 a.m., I don't know, around here I'm sure it's the same. There's nothing open.
Yeah, maybe some like steam bun shops or some shit. You know.
Exactly. So, you know, whereas back to Bali, one thing that I loved in March in Bali, you wake up at 6 a.m., the coffee shops are open, they're serving a massive selection of healthy breakfast, the gym's open at 6 a.m. You know, it's catered for
the early risers.
Yeah, well, it's catered for being healthy, right? Because most people got to work at 8, 9, you know, or kids off to school. So you want to be doing your thing, starting that day nice and healthy, 6 o'clock in the morning. And so far, China's well behind the curve in terms of healthy morning.
Yeah, I mean, here you can't even get coffee until 10 o'clock.
No,
You know, even after
that's
lunch.
it. Starbucks and stuff, 9 o'clock over here.
Yeah.
It's like lunchtime.
So what kind of coffee you drink? You're black?
Either a flat white or an espresso.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember Macaulay's Irish pub.
The Fujian?
Yeah, so one of the owners, I went to see him in Australia 4 years ago in Brisbane. Never drank anything but espresso.
Mm-hmm.
Strong, black, short.
Right.
And Australia is famous for the flat white, so John got me hooked on flat white. And, you know, since then, if I can get a good flat white coffee, I'll have one.
A flat white is what? It's just,
Loads of steamed milk.
so it's like an espresso with steamed milk.
And it's steamed, you can taste that steaminess, that creaminess. Problem is, most coffee shops over here don't get it.
Right.
So you just get a lot of milk and a lot of coffee.
It's like a latte.
Yeah, it's not even as nice as a latte.
Right.
Starbucks can't do it here.
Right.
So, but they do. My local does. So it's good.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, like I use a French press every morning.
Nice.
You know, it's like nothing fancy, just 4 scoops of coffee. It's like a big French press.
And then filter it down.
Yeah, so like you let it seep for 4 minutes.
Nice.
Press it out.
At home, I just use an espresso.
Yeah, I don't.
Pete's coffee capsules.
They're nice, dude.
Pete's coffee is good.
Yeah, I used to have. Before I had another office in Nanshan, and we had one of the like espresso machines.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem is like for me in the morning, I want like I drink this like
You want a big coffee?
I want a big coffee.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
why I'll do like a flat white in the morning.
so just the French press is perfect for me. It doesn't. It's not like there's nothing tasty about it. You know,
It's just a wake up call.
it's just how the morning Joe.
Yeah.
That you just want to smash before getting into the work.
No, good. Where did Shady Monkey come from?
So, my last name is Holladay.
Okay.
So Shadday, and then I had friends that shortened that, dropped a D, dropped a A
To Shady.
to Shady. So that's where the Shady comes from. And then I was born in the Chinese monkey year.
Right. Okay.
So I was using Shady Monkey as kind of like a internet name.
Yeah.
And then when I came to China, there was this webpage called Shenzhen Stuff.
Yeah, Dave.
So Dave, and then was another Dave. So there was this I saw on this like I don't remember if it was a group chat or maybe it was a classified post that somebody was looking for because I do graphic design, right?
Okay.
And they were looking for someone to make a logo and make party posters. And the brand that they wanted to do was called White Cat.
I remember White Cat.
Yeah, by
Used to do
Brandon.
some parties, right?
By Brandon and
Was that Brandon? Yeah.
yeah, and also
Okay.
Dave too, Gloria's
Yeah.
husband or ex-husband. I'm not sure.
I stayed at Dave's house when I was on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, so Australia Dave,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, sound.
So I developed their logo and was making their posters, right?
Right.
And I really loved their logo, White Cat, that I did for them, and I was like, fuck, like he needs a friend, you know.
The monkey.
So this is a new brand.
Okay.
So then I was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna make a Shady Monkey,
Nice.
icon and character. So I was doing that for them, and then I made the Shady Monkey,
Right.
And so that's kind of like that's where the name comes from, and then like the birth of the actual logo.
Yeah.
It was kind of inspiration from doing the work for them. I was like, I'll just do it for myself.
Very cool.
Right. So and then they always did like electronic music, and I always liked my favorite type of music is hip hop music.
Yeah.
So one day I asked them, I said, like, let's make a hip hop party, and they're like, oh, we don't really like hip hop. It's not really like our thing. But like, if you want to do it, like we'll support you because like we have the equipment and everything. You find the DJs. We can give you a venue, and you arrange everything yourself.
Right. Okay.
I said okay. So
You did one.
I did this first Shady Monkey party,
Wow.
and the first party had 10 people, right? So, and then the second party, I think it had like 60 people,
Yeah.
and then like at that time, like there was no hip hop parties or hip hop scene in Shenzhen at the time.
Yeah.
I was like kind of like the first. Everyone was doing electronic music. A lot of the clubs didn't want to play hip hop music, right? It was just like the wrong time, a perfect time for me, because
Yeah, you pioneer in the market.
pioneered the market, and then finally, like I met my friend Mafia and I met Skiz, and they saw I was doing these two parties, and then Mafia was a DJ who loved hip hop, and he's like, your DJs at your party are shit, let me DJ your third party.
Right.
I said, sure, man, no problem. And then Skiz, who's a rapper, like MC,
Okay.
I'd never met him before. He sent me a message on WeChat, and he's like, I'll come and be an MC at your party. Like here's some music videos I made and some performances I've done. I said, okay, let's do it. You come over. Yeah, if you show up, I'll give you a mic, right?
Very cool.
You know, 'cause it's like a hobby for me. Like I wasn't a party promoter. I had no intention to be a party promoter. I got involved with Brandon and Dave and
some on the side that turned out pretty big.
And it's turned out huge. And so that third party, I think we had like 250 people.
Nice.
And then plus like I had Mafia, who was like a real amazing hip hop DJ.
Yeah.
And Skiz, who had great, stage presence, and it just kind of blew up from there.
How many people were you getting towards the end?
So when we decided to retire, the last party that we did had 1,500 people.
Wow, mate.
It was
That's epic. I mean,
it was huge. I mean, like
very big night.
Like it came to the point where like, and for me, like it was never about the money. Like I had no purpose of making money through this. It was just like
something you love.
I just wanted like. I was so tired of Coco Park and so tired of these electronic music parties. Not tired, but it's just like it's just not my taste.
Yeah.
I just wanted I wanted to have what I like.
And there's nothing better, mate, than building something.
And then you
enjoy.
It just grew. Like then we started getting calls from like Viva. Right. Viva was like, "Hey, we'll pay you
to put you on Ion
to come do a party." Right. We got calls from Guangzhou. To go do parties over there. And it was, like my background is like design, doing branding.
Yeah.
Never really like did social media, but I understood it. And so like we would do like things on social media in between the parties that would keep people thinking, remember us. We did like this, nice. Like a parody about, there was a song called "I'm in Love with the Coco," but then a lot of people were doing different parodies of this song, and so we did one like "I'm in Love with the Baijiu."
Ah, I remember it.
You remember
it? Yes. Have you still got that?
I still, yeah.
You gotta send me that.
Okay, I'll send it to you after. And so, like, I mean, that
that was awesome.
That blew up. Like people were like, "Who are these Shady Monkey guys like doing?" I'm in love.
You should re-release that.
I'd have calls from like friends or messages from friends that be like, "Hey, yo, I'm in like Chengdu and they're playing I'm in Love with the Baijiu at the club." Like,
mate.
So we just do like like I always wanted to make sure like. I don't want to do my parties too often because I wanted to keep, the best thing is to keep people hungry for it.
Yeah.
Because we had offers like, hey, do a weekly hip hop night. I'm like, no, man, like we'll do it like once every 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Like we're gonna come and we're gonna make it banging.
Thing, right?
And then so like in between those 6 weeks, we need to do something.
Really?
So we created music videos, we created funny videos of different things. And I always wanted to use social media to let people not forget you.
Did it end up on YouTube? I'm in Love with the Baijiu.
I think my friend posted it. I'm not sure how many views it got.
We have to get that back on.
So, but yeah, it was like it was a time where, we did all kinds of like crazy stuff like that.
I remember like seeing a lot of your photos and stuff on WeChat and stuff. Like, wow, By that point though, I was seeing all that. I was married. I'd had my first baby and living in Longan. Mm-hmm. Further out than you as well.
Right,
down at the university.
Longan's deep. I'm in the beginning stages. It's still easy to get to Lohu and Futian from here.
That's right. Yeah, it's pretty tough for me. So I couldn't get to your parties, but I'd be looking at the photos and I'd be like, yes, I wish I was there. Some of your Halloween parties and stuff.
Yeah, they were epic, man. Like honestly, people still come to me, be like, dude, like, this Shady Monkey parties were the best parties, in Shenzhen.
Nice.
And I don't, and with the I think it'd be very difficult for somebody to achieve what we achieved.
Yeah.
In this current time, it's a different, policies are different, things are more strict.
Yeah,
so,
since COVID, it's everyone's focused really on self. I think since COVID, from what I can see in China, the economy is not great. So I think,
but it's also too like I think the government is more strict about ensuring that things are done properly. Because like if you really look at it, like. in order to make a party,
You should have liability insurance.
you have liability insurance, security. I mean, we did at the club; they had all that together. But still, like, even for a foreigner DJ to properly DJ at a club,
have a work visa.
You gotta have an artist visa.
Yeah, so how can you bring in an outside DJ who doesn't work for that club?
Right.
Technically, it's not.
And you're supposed to submit all of the songs, for approval.
Yeah. So you don't need that. It's too much stress.
So it's just it's much more. Anyways, it was a very. Luckily, like, I left the party business with nothing but good memories.
Nice.
When I had friends who left the party business with disaster, So like for me, it was like we did it for 3 years. It was amazing for everybody, right?
Yeah,
and
good.
It was. I have so many videos and memories from that time and pictures from that time.
Brilliant.
I do have a few regrets, but like it's water underneath the bridge. So, because I think like if we were more smart, we would have focused on making some products, apparel, make it bigger than
more videos.
Make it bigger than just parties.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a time where
never too late, bro.
Oh, I'm working on it. I got the new monkey coming out.
There you go.
So
yeah, never too late.
So,
re-release that video.
Yeah, that was that was a fun video. I mean, it was so ghetto. It was like the first time, like, and that was the thing. Like, when we started doing the parties, the very first thing I did was I need a video camera.
Yep.
Because I need to document how cool this party is.
Nice.
So my friend sent me a message like, my friend, he's selling this super nice camera because like he has no money now. He's like, apparently like he made a shit ton of money doing some trade. He was like selling like combs to Afghanistan or some Uzbekistan country for like sheep combs. And like he had one big deal that like made him bank. And so he overspent. Right, yeah. Bought this, bought that,
you could get the knockoff.
And then he was waiting for that second deal or the rebuy. It didn't come. So basically, he was So I picked up this super nice camera for cheap, and then we just started like every party we making videos.
Yeah, very cool.
And that was like
when you did that video, I'm in love with the Baijiu. How many locations was that you filmed?
It was my friend's apartment.
Right.
We spent like 10 minutes in Coco Park just to shoot a little bit of it. We didn't want to put any bars. I remember he
was moving around.
Yeah. And then we went to, it was in the taxi on the way to,
I remember that.
And then it was Baisa Joe, the Bionic at Baisa Joe was the last shot.
Okay.
Very so
cool,
like 2 main locations and then a few minutes.
Traveling around. Super cool.
But yeah, that was, that put us on the map. Like not just in Shenzhen, but like people were talking about us all over the country.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it was a parody. Like people were making fun of us, like, "Oh, this is a shitty video or shitty lyrics." We're like, "Whatever, dude."
I lied to me. Proper cool.
It was fun.
Chinese boy over in Samui, Charles, will love that because I'm sure he's in love with the Baijiu, but he ain't getting no Baijiu in Samui.
Yeah, so it was a good time. Well, we finished it off with I think we killed the Everyday Weeknd.
Tiny bit left, mate. There you go. A bit of mine.
There's some in here too. You want? All right, we'll kill this first and then close with the gin. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Next time, I want to try that pineapple ginger.
Definitely, mate. Before Christmas.
That's my jam.
I'll send Juice Baby James down with that one.
Yeah, I need to get Juice Baby on. He's
got some good stories.
He's a Shenzhen legend, man.
Yeah, he sure is, mate.
And he's lived such a long and full life.
Yeah, as we were talking acting before, he was an actor.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, that's right.
He's.
I think he's done so many things in his life.
Yeah, totally.
And now
he's got some funny stories.
Now he's running a bar every night in Shui Wei.
75 years old, born on Christmas Day.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he's a legend. I remember he was someone set up an extreme sports camp in maybe West China, and he was going to do a bungee jump last year or year before. Can you
no way.
imagine? I mean, mate, what a legend and what guts. And the bad weather came in and won't let him do it.
Thank God, man. You know,
I know.
fucking snap him in
You see
half.
his shoes come back up.
Oh, fuck.
He's a good man.
So what's next for you? Launching this this brand?
Yep. So I'm off to meet a mate of mine, Mankit. He's a successful business guy in Hong Kong and Shenzhen with restaurants, bars. We're talking about doing some events in Coco Park at Viva, one of the oldest clubs in Futian.
Yeah, it's the original.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe do something, collaborate with Rich Cat.
Okay.
He's involved in that. Obviously, they make their own beer. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe they can make our product in kegs and also put it on tap there. Something different for them. That's my pitch anyway. So
Right.
I'm giving it away.
Yeah.
But
Go for the stars.
He's a good guy. You know, he's supported us in his bars when I was doing Brewdog. You know, and good fun to run around. So
Yeah, he's a good guy.
that's tonight. And then tomorrow I'm over in Sherco at Bayer, meeting Jerome to organise the official launch.
And his partner still hasn't come back?
Angelo's in Koh Phangan, I heard. So it's funny you mentioned that. So the reason I went to Thailand last year was I get a call off Angelo, do I want to invest in a beach club? And so I went over to Koh Tao, which is a diver's island. It's also called Murder Island if you go online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you go on the internet, Koh
Like it's
Tao
because it's murdered because of...
people get murdered. Apparently.
Right.
I don't think it's as bad as they make out online.
The legend's more...
There's probably more murders on a Saturday night in Leeds.
Right.
But,
Or Chicago.
yeah,
you know?
oh, for sure, right? But yeah, so I went out there. It didn't work out as I expected. But Angelo's still there, so Jerome's been running the show in Shenzhen since COVID. Really, I think Angelo's been in Koh Tao.
Yeah, that's when he left.
COVID, yeah, you know, Jerome's super pro. You know, he does good events. So for us, it'd be a nice place to do a launch. Get a drone over the top.
Yeah, especially with that sky bridge or whatever, the sky patio.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
And I've got a good friend John Graham. He's now working for red light therapy company called Lumiflex as CEO. And I'm thinking, hopefully, we're talking today. We're going to partner together for the launch. So like Everyday Weeknd times Lumiflex, and then we can pull our resources. Obviously I'm a drink and he's a health product, equipment.
It's a healthy drink.
Yeah, exactly. So it fits in, and you know, his wife Mickey, they got married in Vegas the other week. I don't know if you knew.
I saw on the WeChat.
Yeah,
you know?
Congrats, John.
Did he do the Elvis wedding, the drive-through?
I was trying to push him on that. I don't know if they had Elvis there or not. But yeah, so Mickey has been doing events and stuff for a long time, so she's gonna hopefully help out with the launch party. So it should be pretty big. Should be good.
I want to go, man. When you know,
Hey, you've got to come.
Baya's always. We used to do Shady Monkey parties over at Baya when they were
In Coco Park.
Coco Park.
Yeah, I mean that Shenzhen Heat burger they do.
Did you ever do the spicy challenge?
I never did it as the challenge, but I've eaten a lot of Shenzhen Heat burgers.
But okay, so the Shenzhen Heat burger is nothing compared
I'll put
to
in the extra sauce in.
to the.
Yeah,
So
how they made that sauce, I've no idea.
it's ridiculous. So there's a little funny story. So, well, me and Baya, we've always had like a really good relationship, and still do to this day. And at that time, Flo was working for Baya.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do this Shenzhen burger spicy challenge, right? So we were like the first, me and my friends, and I think like Sophisticate,
Yeah.
and Freddie, and Dante was like a DJ guy.
Okay.
We were like the guinea pigs, right?
Did you win?
Dude, nobody finished. So but I brought my we brought the camera, we made a video about it, and Dude, that was like it was my first time ever trying to do like any kind of food challenge, right?
Yeah.
And dude, you just start eating that thing and
You sweating.
so like the normal Shenzhen heat burger, they put a little bit of the sauce, right? Because it's very hot. So on this one, it was like they put it on both sides of the bun, then they put it on the patty, and then they put some on the lettuce, and then they put some on the pickles or whatever, right? It was like every layer had the sauce, right? And on top of that, so they give you French fries, a milkshake, and their mac and cheese, and they put some of the sauce on the mac and cheese. So it was just like nobody could finish, and like one guy had like the puke bucket, like ready to puke. And at that time, I was dabbling with like starting like a food brand that was like doing restaurant reviews and recipes. It was called Stuffed, and so I made this video for this brand, and then I wrote about my experience, and I said like, this was probably like, like I love Baya, but this was probably one of the worst food experiences of my life, and I would not wish even my enemies to try this spicy challenge because, like for 24 hours I was in hell.
Oh,
right.
Shit.
So and I put this on the public WeChat article, and they wrote me like, what the fuck? Like, well, why, how could you put this down? I said, man, first thing I said is I love you guys. Second thing, I was just talking honestly.
Yeah.
Right. But this post sparked so much interest.
It's good for business
to do the challenge. You had so many people like after watching the video and reading the article,
want to do the challenge.
They wanted to do it, and it just became like this thing where everybody wanted to go and test it.
Yeah, we used to supply them a lot of beer. So they used to have one brand. So they started doing taps, and then they changed. Then they came to me, and we did Rogue from USA.
I remember Rogue. Yeah, with the little skull guy.
They were doing like 100+ kegs a month between Futien and Sherco. A lot of beer. For craft beer, that's a lot of beer.
Right. That was a good beer.
Yeah, Dead Guy, chocolate stout, and hazelnut IPA. Hazelnut ale. Man, they were smashing through that beer. And then we ended up on doing Tuatara with them, and from New Zealand. So if you're still going, I think Sherco has still got the menu board. It's still from Tuatara, beautiful big board that they built to go above the bar. We've always done a lot of good product events there. Yeah, and they used to have, remember they had the fine dining restaurant. Yeah,
there was Buy a Burger, and then there was like Buy a Restaurant.
The fine dining in Sherco.
Which was the first one?
Beautiful,
like
man.
Yeah,
that massive ceiling in the back part of it, absolutely beautiful. It's good times back then, again before COVID, right?
Yeah, COVID changed everything.
They've still got one left though, and managed to keep that terrace. That terrace is awesome.
Which was they didn't get the terrace until they opened up Buy a Burger, because then they had both locations.
Yeah, and there's a bridge across, right?
Right.
And now they've kept that bit,
which is like that's the money spot.
Bit. Yeah, it's perfect. It'll be a good pie.
Right.
I might have to ask you for some DJ contacts.
Yeah, man. I'm also too like Baya has a ton of DJs.
Yeah,
on the roster.
So
you'll be set there.
Definitely.
But cheers, man.
Cheers, mate.
I've switched to gin because we've run out of the Everyday Weeknd.
Good work.
I hope the pineapple is going to be at Baya.
It won't be. That'll be around Christmas.
So the parties around Christmas, or
no? This first party is going to be the 2 drinks in October.
Okay.
And then the second party, again, venue to be confirmed around Christmas with 2 more flavors.
Can you with and forgive my ignorance about can you do like cocktails with this?
You can. I mean, it's not the way that the seltzer market really is. You don't really see it, but you know what? We're not following the market, right? The fact that we've gone for a healthier product, better tasting product. In my mind, what I would do is packages in venues, so you get a nice bottle of gin and a few cans, and then it's your choice. You drink it straight, or you mix it with.
Yeah, because this actually could be like a good mixer.
Of course, it could. Yeah, definitely. Someone who wants something stronger, a bit of tequila, whatever. If
or even like you know, like a mimosa, which is like fresh orange juice.
Yep.
You know, with this like lime. Well, this one's lime, right?
Yeah,
lime. Boom. You know.
For this, to me, it's interesting with a lime and soda because it is what it says on the tin. It's lime and soda.
Right.
But this is the one that we put in competitions, it wins every time.
This one.
Yeah, lime and soda.
So this is the award winner.
Yeah, that's the master.
And this is gold.
This is gold.
Gold is what, second place?
Yeah. Yeah, and we're up against big established brands, so super happy. But that's when you put your heart into something.
I like the slogan. Citizens of good times.
Exactly. Yeah, it was funny. We were going to get into Dan Murphy's in Australia. They accepted it, and that's the holy grail in Australia. The
Dan Murphy's is like
Murphy's
a chain?
liquor shops, like
Okay.
1,500 of them. You know, like when I was at Dave Curtin's place in the Gold Coast, I would go to Dan Murphy's and pick up slabs of beer, right, and take it back to his. It's what people do. You're not selling by the can; you're selling by the slab, by the case. But Australian government rejected the name Everyday Weekend. They said that it would confuse people to thinking if they were drinking it on a Tuesday that it was actually a Saturday.
No fucking way.
Mate.
This is the most idiotic thing I've ever...
Yeah, bro. Unreal. So, then you miss
That means like they don't believe that people have common sense. I mean, right?
There you go, mate. It's Australia, though, to be fair, right? They're probably not far away. So you've got to wait. Like Dan Murphy's and Coles are the two big ones. They only take on new ranges once a year. So you got to wait till next year
To apply
I
again.
think it's a new purchaser.
Do you have to change the name?
Change the name, yeah. So in Australia, we would call it Weekends.
Or every day?
No, that'd be worse.
You can't confuse people that it's every day. Can't drink this every day. Or whatever.
You drink Everyday Weekend, and on Tuesday means you aren't going to work the next day because you're going to think it's Sunday.
Right. But the name is great, man. I like it.
Thank you, man.
Everyday Weekend. I mean, because I think as a person, as a human, you know, like the weekend is so special. It's the end of the grind.
Man, where we grew up, working class, you lived for the weekend.
That's right. I mean,
you
do the backyard barbecues with your family.
Yeah.
You have your time to invest in your hobbies or
Exactly.
whatever.
That's it.
Go on your little.
You worked hard Monday to Friday, and you're ready for. It's all about the weekend. Everything was about the weekend. You start work on a Wednesday. You're talking with your friends about what we're doing on the weekend.
Yeah, what you got some good plans?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't have any good plans, but what do you got going on? You know.
And this is it. So Everyday Weekend is, for me, spot on.
It's spot on. The name is perfect. We'll
get some more downers, mate, when the container arrives.
All right, man. You gotta call me when the pineapple arrives.
Sounds good. I'm dry now, mate.
You want a gin? You want to close it out with the
Close
heavy?
it out with a gin, why not?
Let's do it. Yeah, man. Boy, maybe that's too heavy. I don't see. I have heavy hands, man. I have super heavy hands.
As long as my Diddy driver hasn't been drinking, we're all good.
We'll take care of you on that one.
It's a good thing with the whole Diddy driver concept. You can go out, you can have some drinks, get someone else to drive you home in your car. Man, I put the passenger seat forward all the way onto the floor nearly, and I just seatbelt on, sit in the back, put my legs over the passenger seat. And
just like kick back.
Sleep, bro. Yeah.
Let him take you.
Smoking a cigar out the window.
Everyday Weekend.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, man. Like that's one of the things I really love about doing this podcast is that like, and you and me are a perfect example of this, right? I think you've been in my radar for a long time. you've known about me for a long time, but we've actually never
We've never done this.
We've never sat down and talked, even at a bar or, when I used to have the bar in Mambo, you'd come for a few minutes, talk some business, but we never had a chance to dig deep.
Never ever, mate, and that's from busy lives and stuff, right? No, I was thinking exactly the same. Like we have known each other and who we are for 10 years, probably.
Probably, yeah.
And this is the first time we sat down, chewed the fat,
and just got into it.
Yeah, man, exactly.
And that's why I like, and also too, like when, even if we met at a bar or we just met on some night, we would never have the chance to like dig deep into a conversation. There'd be like things happening around us.
Yeah.
It'd be very superficial, right? Just like
life is, right?
Right. How's this? How's that? Oh, cool, man, bro. Yep, nice.
It takes time, mate, don't it? And and that's been good today. It's been super.
Yeah, and I appreciate about sitting down with people that I've known a long time, and also sitting down with people who I've known but never really known.
Yeah, you open them doors.
So
it's the best way, mate. And I'm sure next time we see each other, we're going to be just like this.
You're going to wear the Roman helmet.
Oh, definitely, mate. We're gonna next podcast. Look at this, man.
Yeah, so when I first got this, it used to be all silver. And then it changed. I guess weather or whatever.
I mean,
yeah, so you see all the silver? It used to be all that. Probably I could clean it up. But so I went to this like Hong Kong, it was like a furniture home decoration trade show.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, a lot of like the exhibition people, they want to just like sell the stuff or get rid of it. They don't want to take it back.
It's proper spa.
And
that's just Gladiator, isn't it? It's Maximus.
Yeah, it is Maximus.
Yeah, it's Maximus. Wow.
So this guy, like, he's like,
I could do with this in my next white collar boxing fight.
There you go, dude. Walk out with it,
Ah, man, that's awesome.
So he sold it to me for like, I don't know, like 20 RMB, 30 RMB.
Mate, we were in Beijing. We went to a bar and it was in the Hutons on a back road, and they had the bar had medieval costumes hung up.
Like full
swords, shields. And it's like, yeah, you can put them on, you can fight in the street. So
no, they're just joking.
No, seriously, they're all blunt. But mate, we're all there drunk, drinking beers in the bar, drinking some.
And then you think it's a good idea.
Yeah, we got full kitted up like, Roman warriors and, King Arthur over there. And, we're just chasing each other down the street in Beijing.
Well, you had swords?
Swords and shields.
Like, was the sword rubber swords?
No, it was steel, blunt steel.
But even blunt steel is pretty deadly,
Pretty, yeah, exactly. And
especially for big drunk guys like you.
Well, what was funny was it was another brewery. We're doing like a launch pub crawl in Beijing, and they turned up from down the street. So of course we just kitted up in our full armor, right? Like, this is our hood.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You get out of our hood. And we jokingly went charging down the street with our shields, our helmets, so they couldn't see we were wearing, our swords, and they're just like absolutely shit their pants. And then we take our helmet off. Yay, it's us, and all hugs and all laughing. But I don't know if that bar's still open.
Fuck! You scared all the customers away.
Can you imagine? At some point, that probably went wrong.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I could understand if it was like rubber swords.
Mate, everything was legit.
Because I mean, even like the most blunt sword is still like a hammer.
Honestly, I felt like one of the musketeers. 3 musketeers, right? who's the one who like Porthos or Aramis or whatever? You sat there drinking, and then you're like, right? It was pretty cool, pretty insane, and I'm guessing them days are gone.
Hopefully. I mean, I don't want people, I especially don't want drunk people fucking running around the street.
Chasing you down the street with a sword.
With swords and full armor.
Or swinging one of them chains with spike balls on the end.
It was a real spike ball?
They had everything.
Holy fuck. I mean, that's just dangerous to yourself. I mean, if you don't know how to use one of those spike balls, dude, That can.
You know, looking back, maybe my memory's hazy, and maybe we just robbed an antique shop.
Right. That's cool, man. I love the old stuff, dude. I love the historical. I mean, that's why this is the one thing I purchased when I.
This is brilliant, mate.
So.
It felt fit. Oh yeah. I mean, look at that.
That's perfect.
Am I just Maximus? Yes.
You're ready to go charge. You just meet your Diddy driver like that.
Ready to go.
Can you drive me?
I'll meet you in hell.
There you go. So. Yeah, I need to clean it up. But I felt like the rust was like.
It's authentic, right?
Yeah.
You should have kept the blood on there as well.
It makes. we can arrange it. I think if you need to put blood on it, it needs to be authentically put on.
Yeah, that's cool. I think for my photo at the end, I'll put that on.
There you go, dude. All right, man. It's been a pleasure. I wish you really the best success for the Everyday Weeknd. It's a great product. It's a great brand. I love the art. The name is spot on.
Thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah, dude, we're out. Cheers, man.
Good luck to you too, bro.
Yeah, likewise.